We've just come through Teddington Lock and we're now on the tidal Thames. You give them 3.5 hours to get there. That's not an accounting for punching the tide or anything else that may happen along the way. And with us, something did happen along the way.
Did it?
That put our schedule back a little bit. Feeling we're going to get bounced about a bit. Just been overtaken by a trip boat and there's a speed boat coming the opposite way. This is Chelsea Bridge first and then the Victoria Railway Bridge. Won't surprise you to learn that we're a little bit behind schedule. Let's pray and hope that Limehouse lock will still be open for us. I've got to give them a ring when we get to London Bridge. We could be waiting on the 2 pontoons outside the lock. Allowed to film this building on the right hand side, a sort of light grey and greeny building. That's MI5. We've got to stay well away from it, so we will do. I don't want to get shot down. It's bad enough going on this blooming tidal river up and down. Sorry if you're feeling seasick, by the way. We've had a couple of trip boats go past and yeah, there's no speed limit now. So yeah, the building on the right is MI5. The other thing as well I need to explain to you is that when we do get hit by the big waves, the engine momentarily, or the propeller, leaves the water, and the feeling under your feet, it's quite bizarre. Just a rumbling underneath your feet. Some famous sights coming up for us now. Big Ben, all that it's clean. We've got to stay away from the Houses of Parliament, just in case we do anything naughty. I don't know what we're going to do. It's Saturday. Nobody's here.
we're standing on the bridge over the lock at Limehouse, and that tiny little black dot on the river there is Tony and Jan from the vlog.
Oh, Making New Memories.
Making New Memories. Alright, I couldn't remember, my memory's getting terrible. They're due in here for tonight, but there's only a few minutes left before they shut the lock for the day. So hopefully the lockies will let them in. We'll have to wait and see. Here they are. They've obviously turned, drifted downstream. They're now taking the current all the way up. Looks like Jan's just spotted us.
There's Tony and Jan on Making New Memories. Coming in to the turn. The tide really catches you. I missed the turning, I heard a shout out.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's... But that's a bit rickety.
Not as rickety as ours.
Well, we got here. We got to Limehouse Marina. Unfortunately, that is as far as we could get. Now, we've been here for two and a bit hours waiting for the tide. Evidently, that gate is only, the lock is only open once a day, and we weren't told it was going to be closed at 11. We were just told to arrive here between 10:30 and 11 o'clock.
But we were 11:30 town.
It was 11:30, yeah, but we got stuck on a sandbank.
Nobody said
you can't get in after that, so don't bother turning up if you can't make it, otherwise we'd have turned round.
But we've had a lovely time.
And now we've got to do the journey all the way back.
We've had a lovely time with someone.
Yes, we've met up with Amy Jo.
Chris and Steve
Made us a cup of tea and a drink.
I had a whiskey.
Oh yeah, needed it. And now we've got to do the whole trip again. We're not going to film it, we'll just do a bit of an outro when we get there. Suffice to say, we're not happy. Well, what a disaster that was. I have to say, somebody made a cock up somewhere. All we did was go from A to B, and unfortunately the person at B wasn't very friendly at all. In fact, he wouldn't even open the gates at the top of the stairs,
Nope.
where the pontoons were, for us to go and meet Steve
And get a
Chris
coffee.
and get a cup of tea. We ended up climbing over a wall and a fence to get out. Otherwise we'd have been sat on the boat for 2 hours
No
on
way.
those rickety pontoons.
No way. That was a nightmare.
Which were getting blown about and thrown about just as much as if they were in the actual river itself.
So the lovely lockkeeper had said to us, 10:30 to 11, we'll keep it open. Don't worry, you'll get in. He wasn't on duty.
No.
It was some grumpy guy.
Yeah.
And when we got to, what was the bridge we had to ring him?
Well, yeah, I duly rang him at Tower Bridge.
And he said, hard luck. Sorry,
luck.
we've shut the lock.
We've shut the lock, we're not opening it again. Now, there are 2 high tides during the day, so he could conceivably have opened that lock later on that afternoon or early evening and let us in. But no.
What was his answer? His answer was, I'm not on duty, so
yeah.
hard luck basically. Go out on the 2 o'clock tide.
And as I said at the beginning, this is all because the Navigation Authority doesn't run that lock anymore. It's a private company, and all they're interested in is the people in that marina who pay lots of wonga to be there. That may sound cynical, but I'm afraid it's the truth. If that had been British Waterways or Canal and River Trust, I'm sure they would have done something to help us. Aquavista's stance, or rather their employees' stance, was, it's your problem, it's not ours, bugger off.
Exactly, I was disgusted, absolutely.
So we were told to go back on the 2 o'clock, or we were advised to go back on the 2 o'clock. Well, there wasn't a tide, it was low water. How low is the water at low water on the Thames? You'd be surprised, actually. You can see the boats that are moored up on the side are actually on, they're high up, about 15 feet up, on mud.
Yeah.
And there was a little channel going through this of water. It was more like a stream than a river at that point. And the inevitable happened, same as on the way down, just about Chiswick Way, we got stuck.
I could have got out the side of the boat and walked on the riverbed.
So there again, the advice we were given was complete rubbish, to be honest. It was completely false. And dangerous, downright dangerous, to be honest.
And how long did it take us?
The whole day was 10 hours.
It took us over 5.5 hours to get back.
Yeah. We were just grateful that there was a mooring spot at Teddington when we got back.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to see Teddington.
We were both knackered after all of that.
He went to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, too tired to do anything. I think I may have had just one whiskey and then went straight to bed.
Yeah, because that was a complete. It ruined the whole thing for us. Thank God we did it years ago, and we've done it, and it was perfect.
Yeah. By comparison, the following day on the Sunday, Steve and Chris on Life Aboard Amy Joe came out.
Blah-de, blah-de, blah.
This is what they experienced, because we don't want you to think that it's like this all the time. It can be really, really beautiful.
And it was fantastic.
So we're just going to show you a little bit of Chris and Steve's journey coming out of Limehouse.
Okay. That echoed across the side. It was clear anyway. That echoed across the other side of the river.
See? It's not all bad, is it? Beautiful. We hate you.
We're not jealous, really, are we?
No. But we have done that before, and it has been like that.
Yeah.
Sunday. So if we're going to recommend anything,
do not do it on a Saturday.
Don't do it. Recommendations for the Tideway. Don't do it on a Saturday. Don't come out of Teddington and go into Limehouse unless you're absolutely certain of the times and that you will make it, and then it's not a weekend and it's early morning or late afternoon or whatever. Better to go from Teddington to Brentford, go up the Grand Union Canal, and then go along the Grand Union Canal Regent's section, I think it is, go along the Regent's Canal and then drop into Limehouse that way. There are some free Canal and River Trust moorings overnight. I think you can pay if you want to stay a couple of nights, and then liaise with the lock keeper and go out on a Sunday morning first thing.
Yeah.
And it'll be just like Chris and Steve's journey, and it will be more enjoyable for you because you'll be able to look at the sights, you'll be able to enjoy it all, take pictures, video, whatever you want to do. It won't be a kickball scramble, as we used to say in television, trying to get shots of passing things whilst you're going up and down.
I was just holding on in the well deck. Yeah. Did you get me retching over the side?
Yes, and I got you screaming and shouting, I think. So, or going, ah!
It's funny now, but that was
looking back on it, yeah, it was hilarious. But there we go.
We did it.
We've done it, we got through it, and we live to tell the tale. We just hope you've enjoyed watching it and living it with us. I hope you weren't seasick at any point along the way. And if
Yeah.
you do want some advice about that particular part of the tideway, there is a guide that the PLA, that's the Port of London Authority, produce. Get yourself a copy of that because that's really handy. Study the maps, the tide times in particular. Bear in mind, and this is another thing about tide times, is that some of them are printed in GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, when actually, of course, at the moment we're in British Summertime, BST. So the GMT ones are an hour earlier than what you would
Maybe
plan to
that's
go.
what went wrong then.
Who knows? I know the tide tables that the guy at Teddington had were GMT, so they were actually wrong.
And just check with the lockies.
But they weren't
because
wrong, they were an hour out.
Check with your lockies because they change
Yeah.
shifts and
Yeah.
oh.
And make sure they've written it in the book at Limehouse, and then you're booked in, and make sure you get into that little window. It is a narrow window. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed, after all that, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, thumbs up for a like as usual.
Really?
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If there's a sick button, use that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's totally free to do so. And then when you've subscribed, press the bell icon.
Ding!
Oh dear, that's knackered, that bell, isn't it? Completely. That's flooded, that bell.
Oh God.
And YouTube will notify you next time we upload a vlog. Thank you for all your comments as usual. Thank you all your new subscribers. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
Do send us a comment because we love answering them and looking at them and reading them.
Especially the ones after this.
Yeah, that should be fun. In the meantime, stay safe, wear a life jacket. Happy cruising. Bye.